All right, so let's address the elephant in the room. You might be posting on Instagram for your local business, but you're not getting any actual leads from it. That's what I'm going to make today's video about. My name's Tyler Smers. I help local service-based businesses scale with Instagram and Facebook ads and content. If you just have ads, you'll get leads, but you don't build any type of brand whatsoever, and you got to keep spending money every single day. If you just post content, then you're building a brand, but it's going to take forever to actually close deals. So the money is when you combine both. Now let's get right into it. The problem is three. I'm going to go over three main problems today. So the first one is you're posting random content, hoping for the best. Maybe you're not posting content, but if you are, you're just getting into the game. You're probably posting on multiple platforms or maybe just Instagram, and you're hoping, hey, why am I not getting any leads from this? What's happening? I'm going to give you a clear-cut strategy on how to scale with the right content. Number two is you can't turn attention into consistent sales. So now that you maybe got the content, you have a strategy, you're implementing it, you're staying consistent. It's actually, how can I now turn those eyeballs into dollars for my business? So I'm going to teach you how to do that. And the third thing is you're stuck doing everything manually and inconsistently. And so even if you have the content strategy down, even if you have the mechanism to turn them into dollars down, that still takes time. And as business owners, you're busy, right? You want to be able to delegate this stuff. You either eliminate, automate, or delegate in that order. And some of these things you can't eliminate and you can't automate, at least not yet, because AI is not good enough. So I'm going to show you how to delegate all these systems so that you can still scale and have these in place to bring in leads, build brand, and close deals. So, all right, so first off, I want to talk about CPMs and rising ad costs. Now, if you don't build some type of brand, some type of foundation for your service, you are cooked heading into 2026 and beyond. I promise you, I'm not saying this to be like a fearmonger guy or whatever, but if you don't build some type of brand, it's getting so competitive these days that if you don't, you're going to get left behind. You're going to be invisible and no one's going to be able to find you. This is not 2010 anymore. Google ads are amazing. Trust me, it's pull marketing. You know, you go online, you go to Google if you need a plumber, right? But if you don't have some type of brand to build enterprise value, to capture cold attention, there's only so many people looking up a plumber on a given day. But if you can go out and build a brand and get cold traffic coming to you, interruption-based marketing, that's push marketing, right? And build some type of brand over the long term, which it does not take that long. It takes longer than just turning on an ad and being like, oh, okay, here's a lead. But if you're actually looking to build something sustainable for the long term, it must be a brand. If that wasn't the case, if I didn't believe in what I was teaching or anything I just said, then I would be ripping cold emails, sending 100 a day to business owners, and I'd probably be getting more luck than building a brand. I know it'd be faster. I know I'd get some responses, maybe get people on the phone right away and close a deal. But I know that my leverage comes from building a brand long term. And now I have over 10,000 followers because of that. So now instead of ripping cold calls and them being hanging up because they don't know who I am, they don't like, know, and trust me, I'm just another dude trying to sell them something. Now they see my page and they're able to convert and they're much more likely to pay me and pay me more because I've built a brand for myself. And now we have a team of 4 helping other businesses scale. So whether you're a coach, whether you're a local business, whether you're any type of business that leads, you must build a brand to crush. So if you're just posting random content into the abyss and you're just hoping like, oh, I know the thing to do now is post content because that's what the kids say. Or that's what, this guy is on random guru on YouTube says. But you don't have some type of strategy, then you're going to get left behind because people are better. People are better. Systems are better. Content is not what it used to be in 2020 or 2018 or even 2016 when you could throw up a Facebook ad and close a bunch of deals nonstop. Now it's a lot more competitive. So if you don't know the right strategies to stand out and you don't actually put time and effort into your content and treat it like your product or service, then that won't matter. Then you might as well just keep posting into the abyss. But if you take time and say, you know what, I'm going to put all my effort into this. Yes, I know I don't want to. I feel dumb making a dumb video or a reel or a TikTok or whatever. But if you actually put time into that, you'll see how many more leads come in for your business. And who doesn't want more leads? I promise you. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the strategy today. All right, so without further ado, let's go over to the solutions. All right, so first up, number one, the solution to the problem is by focusing on one main platform with the right content strategy. So let me talk about this. First off, that main platform is IG. G, okay? Every single time. If you're a local service-based business, it's Instagram. Now, what you can do is go to a website called repurpose.io. And what this does is allow you to post on Instagram right here, but this automatically gets distributed to TikTok, maybe YouTube Shorts, a bunch of other platforms that you want, so you're not just growing your brand on one platform, okay? Because Instagram's not going to shut down anytime soon, but it's still good to diversify, just like you would an investment account if you're a financial advisor and you're advising your clients to, not just put it all in one stock. Post this on other platforms as well using repurpose.io. But this is your main bread and butter, because the DMs on Instagram are 10 times better than the DMs on TikTok, and you can't even DM on YouTube. So highly recommend sticking to Instagram. Now, when it comes to the right content strategy, there's 3 types of content that I would make every single time. Okay, so they are: number 1, education content. Okay, number 2 is relatable content. And number 3 is social proof. Now let me dive a little deeper on each of these, okay? So 1 is education. If you are teaching your ideal customer how to do something, right? If you're let's say you're a plumber, I'll keep using that example. Let's say you're a plumber and you're teaching ideal customers, your ideal house, how to fix a toilet, how to change I don't even know, I'm not a plumber, like the thing in the sink, right? How to take it out, maybe there's hair stuck in it. Then that builds goodwill with people, right? You're actually teaching them how to do something for themselves. Now, them wanting to do it themselves is a totally different story. They'll likely pay for implementation. Like 9 times out of 10, people are lazy. They don't want to do it themselves, but they remember, oh yeah, this guy, Dan the plumber, started posting on Instagram about how to do this. I'm just going to call him. It's staying top of mind. Okay. You're staying top of mind, and every lead you get, or every follower you get, is basically a lead. So I do this with my content. I educate people in my content, and all this is education. This content grows versus this content gets sales, right? Or this views and sales. And then writing this down, like posting 3 times a week. That is education content. So when it comes to education content, I would say this should be about 60% of your content. I like our little blue in the middle of that 0 right there. Now, next up is relatable content. This is connection-based content. You want to connect with your viewers and show them that you're not just another Joe Schmo. If you post tips all day, that's great, but being relatable makes you actually stand out. Okay, you want to stand out amongst your competition, not just be the guy like a commodity who does the same thing as everybody else, because people are going to start copying your tips, and then you have nothing to base yourself on as far as being different, right? You can't copy a story. If I post on my page, essentially, like I'll even do this too, like don't be boring, real. And I'll talk about my journey of what it's like. So you got to separate yourselves from everybody else by being different than everybody, sharing your story, why you're doing this, documenting the journey. Oh my gosh, I did a Karen's house today. This is what happened, or I messed up here. That is essentially how you're going to build a brand that crushes, and that builds a actual parasocial relationship with your followers to make them want to pay you for your services. So highly recommend creating relatable content, connection-based, and I would say this is about 20%. And the last piece is social proof. People want to know that I'm not the first one who's going to pay you. They want to see how many jobs have you done? Do you have 5-star reviews? Do you have crappy reviews? Are you good at what you do? If I pay you dollars, are you going to do what I pay you to do? So they look at past reviews. When you go on Amazon, you look at past reviews. When you hire a marketing agency or a coach or whatever, you look at their past testimonials. I do this once again on right here. Here we go. Past testimonial, past testimonial, past testimonial. And then all these 6 different ones with a bunch of highlights of client wins. Now, for what you do need trust. You still need to get trust, especially if you're a professional service, like if you're a real estate agent, if you're a, something in that realm, you still need to have a lot of trust in the person you're paying, right? If you're a pest control guy, you don't need to focus as much on social proof, but I would still have a few testimonials up. I would still post 5-star reviews. I would show like, oh, hey, yeah, look at the result I got before, or have Larry say on camera, hey, this is what happened before I hired David, and this is what happened after I hired David. And there were a bunch of scorpions and cockroaches beforehand, and now it's completely clean as a whistle, right? I could eat food off my floor. Something like that. So it's not as important because you need more trust typically to hire a marketing agency perhaps than you would a pest control guy. But you also want a pest control guy who's good because guess what? That costs money. So long story short, this is 20% right here. So education, relatable content, social proof, 60, 20, 20. This is the content strategy that I would use, but with using repurpose.io and posting to all these other platforms if you want to start crushing it in 2025 and beyond. Because if you don't, I promise you're like, it's like, don't even listen to me if you don't want, but if you don't start doing this, it's going to be really hard to stand out and stuff is going to get only more and more competitive. Okay, let's talk about the DMs to close deals. Now, when you get attention to your page, when you finally have people clicking on it, you have people liking it, commenting, XYZ, we want to be able to turn this attention into actual dollars. All right, we have eyeballs here. I'm going to draw a little eyeball. Terrible at drawing. Into cash. Now, how do we do that? It's from the DMs. And I'm not just talking about one DM. I'm talking about hundreds. Okay, when you go buy door signs or door hangers or I don't know, yard signs, you don't just buy one, right? One doesn't do anything. You send a bunch. Volume. It's all volume, all right? To every single liker, to every single follower, you got to send DMs. And I'll talk about number 3, how you delegate that, because you're not going to want to do that forever, right? But this is how you do it. This is how you actually turn attention into deals. Because if you don't do this, then you're just sitting on a pile of cash that you could convert all these customers, all these clients who actually follow you. They follow you for a reason. They didn't unfollow you even though you're posting. You might be annoying them, but they're still following you. They're following for a reason. So hit them up. Go out of your way and say, hey, by the way, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. How's everything been on your end? Or thanks for the follow a while back. Or how's it? Yeah, like just something that is building relationship with them. Go on their page, the 10-second rule. I love this rule. 10-second rule. And what this does is essentially I go to their page and I'll say, hey, you know what? Oh man, that's cool. You have a bunch of testimonials, or that's cool. You went golfing last weekend at Pebble Beach, right? So this is essentially saying, hey, I'm going to take 10 seconds to look at that person's profile. And if they're private, that's okay. You can still send them a message. But if they're public, say, hey, you know, super cute dog. How long you been in Phoenix? How long you been in XYZ local city? Right? And ideally, you're running ads to your profile to get these local followers who are qualified because they're in your local area that you can serve. But that's a whole nother video. So right now, we have to use the DMs to close deals, and taking the 10 seconds out of your day to look at their account and make it personalized. Right? If you send a cold email and it's not personalized, it's templated, it's not going to perform as well as something that actually is personalized. I'm not saying write a paragraph. It could just be a quick little text, right? Like you're texting a friend. So highly recommend that. Now, when it comes to delegating your time, you want to make sure you're using your time efficiently. Now, you want to know how you do this. You want to know how to do this, because if you don't know how to send DMs and you hire somebody to do it, you don't know if they're doing a good job or not. So I recommend learning this to start, but then what you're going to want to do is hire a VA. This is equivalent to a virtual assistant, okay? And a virtual assistant can be hired online, overseas, in person, it doesn't matter, but I highly recommend going to one website, and that's onlinejobs.ph. Here we go. And if you're still watching this video, kudos to you, because this is a website that a lot of marketers keep secret. They'll hire someone, they'll charge you $2,000 or whatever, and then they'll just hire someone overseas to do it for $100. And they source them from this website. But this website smashes. Okay, I'll even pull it up. Onlinejobs.ph. Right here. Look at this. This website absolutely crushes. It's all a bunch of virtual workers in the Philippines. And you can hire these people to send DMs on your behalf. And they're super cheap. They're very affordable. right? If you go hire someone in the US, yes, you might have to teach these guys a little bit more because the language barrier is a little different. But overall, they're very good. They're very good at English. They know how to text. They know how to type. They're hard workers, sometimes even harder workers than US based, because in the US, people are lazy a lot of the times. So they work their tail off. I highly recommend this website, and you can even find editors for your content, right? I don't spend my time editing all this content. I would never have the time. So I hire editors to edit them for me. And then I'm not only not paying a marketing agency, but I'm paying someone overseas to do all this for me, and I can take all that profit, and my margins are way higher. So I just want to make this talk going over, obviously, the OneMain platform, how to use the DMs to close deals, and then how to delegate your time, which is with this website. And there's a bunch of tricks on how to hire these people. But if you want my help implementing any of this, or you just have any questions at all, I'm happy to see if we can help. You can click the link in the description to book a call with myself or my team below. I appreciate you watching. Thank you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.